Okay, let's install the camera. But before we install the camera, I'm going to teach you a few things that will help you to protect your camera from becoming a brick. Many people will not tell you this, but I'm going to tell you. The main thing you're going to see here, for instance, UPS, or battery, also known as a battery backup. Many people, they connect it directly to the power, and that's fine. It depends. I mean, if you're here in US, usually the power is very stable, but the main thing that you're going to encounter in these type of things, let's say if you live in California or maybe in another place where you're going to have some outage, the main thing will be you have two options. One, or you just disable the auto upgrade, because if the camera is upgrading and in the middle of the upgrade you have an outage, the camera will become a brick. It will turn into a brick and it's not going to be usable, and surely you're not going to be able to fix it. So that is what happens with most of the computer stuff so if you're doing some upgrade, try to use a UPS. So that way, if something happens, you know, you're going to have power at least maybe half an hour or 1 hour, so that way it can complete the update and you're not going to have any problem. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this, the options that you have, but I'm going to show you just in case if you want to start working on this. So if you don't know about anything about electricity, the first thing that you have to do is turn off the main breaker and make sure that you don't have power anywhere, so that way you're not going to get electrocuted. So in this case, you're going to have, when you open up the box, I'm going to tell you later, you have three cables. You're going to have the hot one that is black. You're going to have the neutral that is white. You don't see it because it's white here. And then you're going to have the green one, or maybe it's completely stripped. That is the ground one. So those are the three cables that you have to connect. So in this case, because this customer, he doesn't have much money or dollars. In this case, he doesn't have enough dollars to do everything properly, but he said, okay, just don't worry, install it with the things that we have, and that's it, we will fix it later. Or I said, okay, this is the problem that you're going to have. And he said, well, maybe I'll talk it later. And I said, okay, whatever, I'll do it, but you know, here you have a problem. You might have a problem in the future. So the guy you're going to see, he has one floodlight here already that is connected to the basement. He doesn't have a battery backup in this case, so this is something that I wrote here. And then he wants to, because he has the door is in, at least in this case, it doesn't matter, maybe in your case you don't have anything, or maybe you have something already, but the information that I'm giving you is going to be relevant for the shop that you want to do. So basically he has it at a little bit lower, and this let's say the door is a little bit let's say the door is taller, something like that. There we go. And then he has the floodlight here, and he wanted a little bit taller. So I said, okay, yeah, no problem. We can extend the conduit that you have here. We can add another box, and then the cameras are going to be higher, so that way you can see the garage. And he said, okay, cool, let's do that. The box that he has here is no for outdoors, it's an indoor box, but you know, like I said before, this guy, he doesn't have enough cash to pay for everything. So he said, okay, just do it the best way you can with the thing that we have. And say, all right. So what I did is I added another box. We extended the conduit, and then I connect the conduit here, because this is like a small conduit. It will not be a big deal to run the cable, but if you have to run, you know, like maybe 50 feet or something like that, you're going to need one of these fishing tapes, so that way you can run the cable all the way inside and everything should be good. So basically that is what I did. So like I said, you connect when you have this, you take the old out in this case, and then you connect black with black, white with white, and green with green, or the strip is the ground one, and you should be good. So after that, you connect the other one, you do the same thing with the piece of cable that I just ran here. You should be good. I mean, you put it everything back and that's it. So what I was saying about the upgrade, so in this case, if you're updating the firmware, you have two options. One, if you think that you're never are going to have any problem, no outage or anything like that, you never know. Someone may be, playing inside of the house, or kick the power strip, or I don't know, playing, or there is something faulty in your house and the breaker trips. You're going to have an outage, and if you have an update that is running, the camera is going to be a brick. So it's going to turn into a brick. So the solution that you're going to have here is, one, like I said, you disable the updates, the automatic updates, and then you use it the way it is. But the only problem that you're going to have, if there is any security issue or anything like that, like anybody will be able to hack maybe your camera or something like that. So that is why it's always better to have all those cameras up to date, so that way you minimize the risk or someone getting into your camera. The other option that you have is you add a UPS or battery backup. You do that and you should be good. Other option is every time you have to update it and you don't want to do this because it's too much work or whatever, you could unplug it, take it out, plug it into something like this, run the updates, and then you put it back. To me, it's too much effort. So if you can do it like that, that will be the best option. Otherwise, you run the risk of damaging the camera over time. So that will be my best bet. Like I said, if you're going to do all this, always use outdoor material, so the way water will not get into it. Caulking it is not a real solution. At least I don't like that idea. So let's start with the practice, and I'll show you step by step how you can do it.
All right, in this case, we're going to install a new camera. So we're going to remove the screws that we have here and there. Then we're going to install it higher. So for that, we're going to install this conduit. We're going to extend it, and then we are going to remove one of those knockouts, and that's it. So here we have to remove those screws first, and I'm going to need both hands. All right, now we're going to, I took this off. I'm going to bridge these two cables, and then I'm going to install the other one. Alright, in this case I have to remove that knockout and then install a new one. Here, this is not the type of box that you have to use. You have to use something better, something that is going to be outdoor. This is not outdoor. Alright, we are going to install this. So for that, we're going to remove the nut. We're going to put it just here, as you can see. Put the nut here. Then we can put the conduit on top. Alright, as you can see, it's down here. We can put this here on it, and then we can tighten it up later, and it should stay in place. Alright, as you can see, we're going to put this here to hold it like that, and then we're going to put this over there so that way it will stay in place. Alright, as you can see, I have to cut this with a multi-tool, so that way I can install the connector, and I want to be able to put it there. So I put the bracket over there to hold the conduit, and we should be good. Alright, as you can see, I ran the cable here, there. I put the hook instead. It's better, and I was able to mount the box on the wall without drilling on the bricks. So now we have to strip both ends and install the light. Alright, as you can see, we're going to install this floodlight, and we have to take it out of the box, and that's it. So basically, around the cable, everything is stripped, as you can see over there, and now I have to install it on the top, and then do the connections on the bottom, and that's it. Always remember to have the power off. Alright, so here we have the camera. I'm going to remove it. So usually here we are going to have stickers and then instructions. There we go. This is to scan the camera so that way the customer can have the app in his phone and everything up and running. So here is show you how to connect everything. Always make sure that you switch off the breaker. Here we have this, we have that. So we can tie this up later once it's in place. We have this, so this is going to be like that. And then we are going to have some nuts in this case. And the screwdriver too. And more nuts. So with this hook, we're going to keep it in place, so that way it will help us to do all the connections. Meanwhile, is in place because we're not going to have so much slack. Usually it's like some ceiling fans that you have the hook, so that way it will stay close to the box, and then you can do the connections without the second person. So we're going to put this down like you see here, and this is going to be up. So we're going to work on this right now. Alright, as you can see, we have the holes, so we have to use the holes to match them up and install them. So we're basically it's going to look like this, and we're going to use that hole to keep it in place. Alright, as you can see, it's in place. So now we have to use the hook to leave it hanging here, and then we're going to tie the cables with the other cables. Alright, as you can see, we have the hook here, so that way this is hanging like that, and then we're going to use the wire nuts with the cables, white with white, black with black, and ground with ground. Alright, as you can see, white with white, black with black, ground with ground. So now we can remove the hook and put it inside. Well, you have these little nuts, as you see here. That is what is going to keep it in place, so make sure that you don't lose it. I'm going to put the last one, and we should be good. Alright, as you can see, everything looking good. The seal is good, so you can just untie this if you want to this nut to move it around. The same thing with this. And now the only thing that we have to do is work on this. Alright, as you can see, I use this instead of the wire nuts because they have so many cables. So we have three, the hot, the rest is neutral, and then we have one ground. So I use the wire nut because that's what they had. So now I have to put this back and we should be good. Alright, as you can see, the lights are working. Over there is flashing. So the customer needs to find out, needs to get the password for the Wi-Fi and set up the phone, and that's it.